Alright, so it works like this. If I have one curve and I hit Command D to duplicate it up, I have two curves. Duh. But if I grab one curve and hold shift and grab the other curve, I can go into surfaces, loft, square box, and I can choose a tessellation here of, let's see, I'll just go back to the reset settings. Okay, so what I want to do is go polygons, I want to go quads, and I want to go count. And I'm going to choose a really low polygon count of like maybe 25. Good. So the reason I chose a real low one is because it allows me to actually retopologize the surface. Now another thing is, let's just delete this and reloft it. And this time I'm going to choose 26. That allows me to have an even amount of verticals going across. Okay. Command D. So I'm going to duplicate that off. Because you can see if I highlight the curves, it highlights this geometry. What's really nice is the curves are actually attached to the geometry in such a way that if I manipulate the curve structure at all, it actually manipulates the axe itself, but I do not want to do that. In some cases that might come in handy, but not this one. So all I do is have to duplicate this with Command D, and notice now this one's attached to this one, but not this one. So okay, then I can jump into the top view and start shaping this back out. Just like that. Okay, so if I grab the edge and go into polygon mode and go edit mesh or mesh, fill hole, I have this. And now I can start retopologizing this because you can't use this as a 26 side face. But if you go to the split polygon tool, you can start chomping away at it. Okay, and this is where you have to decide how you want your polygons laid out. And don't forget the axes have a very sharp edge on the front side but not the back side. So we have to kind of think how we're going to get it so there is a topology line that goes all the way across the blade, and then on the back side it doesn't have that topology line. And if it did, we just have to make sure it doesn't smooth out there. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of show you how I would handle that. And you have to do this in stages. Reason being, you have to go from one edge to the next. You can't just go like, well, maybe, no, you can't just go like that. That would be nice if you could, but you can't do that. So, a lot of times what I'll do here is a shortcut. I'll show you that shortcut. Rather than topologize this whole face, I'll show you a very, very quick shortcut. If I grab the edges and do 2-edge loop, just like that, and then do an extrude, and then blue arrow in. This gives me my topology all the way around the blade. Instead of fill hole right away, if I'm making a surface like this, I could get away with doing that. Okay, and then all I do is have to go into my top view and start reorganizing the outside edge. Like, how close do I want that outside edge to occur? The closer it is, the less it smooths out. So a lot of times I'll just pull them way out and just readjust them. I know this seems like a tedious process, but when you're making something like an axe, it's nothing that you could just really start with a box and be happy with. It's something that you have to have kind of a good starting topology. Like a sword is a different thing. A sword is a very easy thing compared to an axe. Unless you're doing a sword that's maybe smooth on one side and not smooth on the other. But I'd still argue that that's pretty easy too. Alright, so there we go. We got my beginning topology. Am I worried about the other side? Oh no. Because that side I can mirror. Okay, so now I can do the fill hole. Now I have a good start that allows me to do this. I'm going to try keeping this as low poly as possible. I can always change that up some. But I'm just sitting here dividing out quads. And I'm not indifferent to adding edge loops at all. In fact, I'd rather keep these lines going straight across as uniform as possible rather than try to bend them. Like this one connect to this one, that would be bad. I'd rather go through here and just make them go right across the surface just like they would naturally. This one's probably going to fail. There we go. And this is a really lengthy thing. Something you could do. So in the next video, I'll keep continuing to do this. I just don't want to run out of time on this one. So I'll stop here and go to section 2.